everyone. Welcome to this episode of Gallery Theater Presents. My name is Lance Nutman. I'll be hosting today, and with me is the director of Gallery Theater's next production of Grease. This is Kelly Jansen.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. So, for those of us who have never heard of Grease or lived under a rock, I don't think there's many, but can you tell us what is Grease about?
Okay. So Grease is a really happy, upbeat, whimsical show set in the 50s, the late 50s, and it's set in a high school, and it's about Danny and Sandy who meet in the summer before their senior year, and they fall in love at the beach, and it's very sweet, and then they kind of go their separate ways and assume they'll never see each other again or whatever, and they end up at the same school. And so, and then their senior year kind of progresses, and then they kind of navigate that and work their way through it, and we kind of watch as they figure out what their relationship's going to be.
So Grease opens on September 6th, not too far away as we shoot this, and runs Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday matinee. So we close on September 29th, if I'm not mistaken. So four entire weekends of Grease. Is that correct?
Yes, 4 entire weekends. Absolutely.
Excellent. Other than this is just an iconic show, most people know it. It's just a fun show.
Right.
Overall, isn't it?
It really is. It's a lot of fun. And what drew me to it, I think, is I saw it as a young girl with my mom in the movie theater. That was my first experience. So I was exposed to the movie before I was exposed to the stage play of it. And I fell in love with it then, and I remember standing on my bed singing "Hopelessly Devoted to You," pretending I was Olivia Newton-John, or pretending I was Sandy, actually. Right. And I just kind of grew up around 50s music and iconic 50s people because my mom was like the consummate 50s gal. So she was the president of her Elvis fan club in Pasadena, California. And so I've always had an affinity for the 50s, and I love it. And this show is just happy. I've always loved it. The storyline is sweet. It's not super deep, which, sometimes we want to just escape life, right? And just be entertained. And that's exactly what this show does, is entertain us.
So in addition to, you've got the Danny and Sandy through line of the main characters, there's quite a collection of iconic and memorable characters.
Yes.
I know personally, when I was a much younger lad, I had the pleasure in high school of playing Kinnicky. So Kinnicky kind
Wonderful.
of,
yep, I can see it. I can see it. Yep, absolutely.
And so you have a Kinnicky and a Rizzo,
yes,
obviously.
We have Kinnicky and Rizzo. Right. Yes, and then we have the Pink Ladies, and in the musical, the stage musical, they call them the Burger Palace Boys instead of the T-Birds, but they're the same, gang of greasers. Sure. And so we have Rizzo and Kinnicky, and then we have Marty and Jan and Frenchie, and then we also have Duty, Roger, and I think it's just Duty, Roger, Danny, Kinnicky, and...
Was there a Sonny?
Sonny, thank you. How could I forget Sonny? Oh gosh, he's hilarious.
Sorry,
too. Yeah, and Sonny. So so those make up the two kind of like the Pink Lady gang of girls, and then the greasers, and they're the really good friends. And then we have the other friends that kind of come in and out. We have the real, student council president Patty Simcox, and Eugene, who plays like the nerd, and different characters. Miss Lynch, who Sonny in particular, doesn't like. Oh. She doesn't really care for him, but I think they kind of actually deep down inside love each other. But
sure.
But anyway, so we kind of watch the antics unfold, and they do it through song and through beautiful 50s doo-wop music. And you can't help but smile and want to dance along. And yeah.
For sure. And you mentioned, Hopelessly Devoted to You.
Yes.
Grease Lightning. I mean, so many of these songs that everyone just knows. It's so rare to have a musical where you walk out of there singing 5 or 6 or 7 songs.
Yes.
One good earworm is great, but to go, and then this song was great, and this song, it's just a wonderful musical that way.
Right. And we at Gallery Theater decided to do the version with the added songs from the movie. So we got to add for the songs like you just mentioned, the most iconic songs from the movie itself. Sandy, which is the drive-in movie, and then Hopelessly Devoted to You, You're the One That I Want, which is the huge reveal at the end, and then Grease, which is the title song. Right. So we were really excited about that and having a lot of fun with that.
That's really wonderful because when I performed it in high school, I do not believe we did like Grease, which, right. Frankie Valli. I mean, right. In reading about this, I did not know that Barry Gibb wrote that song.
Right. I just learned that through this process too.
Yeah, and then he actually called Frankie Valli and said, "Hey, I have a song for you. I think this is your song." So to have such a amazing, well-known song right. in the musical that's pretty really special.
Fun. It's really fun, yeah. And we're using it to anyway, it's a surprise, but we're using it to kind of introduce the cast and having a lot of fun with it that way and getting creative. So, nice.
Yeah, and many people are familiar with the movie, which was 1978. John Travolta, Stockard Channing, I believe, played Rizzo. You've got Olivia Newton-John, obviously.
Yep.
But what a lot of people don't understand or know, because the movie was their first exposure, is that the stage musical itself has kind of a storied history as well.
Right.
And starting in 1971 in Chicago, and it was pretty edgy at the time.
Yeah.
And it went through some rewrites and became kind of what we know, but that's how most people, kind of came across it back then on Broadway, and of course then it became a huge hit.
Right.
So who are some of the people that we are expecting to see on stage in pink and black, as it were?
Pink and black, yes, absolutely. So we were so fortunate with our casting. I think because Grease is so well known and such a fun, iconic show, we had people coming out of the woodwork to come audition. And so we were able to cast our show easily. We had a lot of people to choose from, so it was a hard decision for us as the production team, and it ultimately falls on me. So, I had to sleep on it. But we have Victor Polanco playing Danny, and he was last seen on the gallery stage about 5 years ago as the lead in Newsies.
Right.
An incredible performer, incredible singer, actor, just an incredible guy too, off stage, backstage. So we're very, very, very lucky to have him. We have Waverly Schmidt, who was last seen as Sandy, last seen on the gallery stage as Anne of Green Gables, playing Anne Shirley in December. So this is a real kind of departure, maybe Sandy not so much at the beginning of the show, but at the end of the show. So it's really exciting to kind of see her do that. That's one of the things I love to see in the theaters. People try, expand their talents in different ways and play different characters, right?
Very much, yeah.
And then we have the Pink Ladies. We have Marty. We have Allie Cannon. She used to be Allie Bean. Allie Bean Cannon is playing Marty. And we have Celeste Sessions playing Jan. And we have Larissa Miller playing Frenchie. And we have somebody new to gallery named Victoria Garcia who's playing Rizzo. Awesome. And they're all knocking it out of the park. And
Great.
So then on the boys' side, on the greaser side, we have Irving Aguero playing Sonny, and we have Darian Kindred playing Roger, and Camden Chalk playing Duty, and Nehemiah Creel playing Kaniki, and then of course Victor Blanco as Danny. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
And of course, supporting characters and many more people.
Ensemble, teen ensemble. A dancing chorus as well, dancing ensemble. So
that was another one of my thoughts on this show is, I'm not exactly known for my dancing, but I recall this is very much a dancing heavy show.
Yes.
How have you tackled that big challenge? Because that is a large challenge.
It's a huge challenge, and I really think in a show like Grease, it can make or break the show, right?
Oh, sure.
So I was able to talk Kathleen Vanderveer into choreographing. Actually, I didn't have to talk her into it. She was ready to choreograph right away. And we worked together in Mamma Mia, and so she was happy to come and work together again, and we make a great team. And so we are so fortunate to have her. She is head of VDV Productions here in McMinnville, has a lot of experience with gallery and just performance at large and dance. And so she has a very unique talent in that she can take people who haven't danced before and make them look like they've danced for years. And so it's incredible. And she did that with this group of kiddos, I call them kids, they're teenagers and young folk, as well as our adult ensemble. And there are several dance numbers where the entire stage just comes alive with dancing, because it's every person in the cast is out there dancing.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's amazing. And it's not just, step, touch, clap, clap. It's like really high level, high energy, fast moving, fast paced choreography. So people are going to be blown away.
Wow. Yeah. It took me, a good week and a half to learn the hand jive on its own. So I can't imagine,
Right.
the spectacle that we're going to see on that gallery stage.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah. And then Cha-Cha and Danny have a dance break in the middle when they win the dance contest and all of that. It's incredible what these kids are doing and what Kathleen was able to bring out of them. So it's phenomenal.
That's great. You mentioned Kathleen signing on pretty early.
Yes.
I remember when this show was first announced, about a year ago, more than a year ago now, at the season reveal. I remember you and Kathleen and I think Tegan maybe or somebody else on your team showing up, and you guys had the Pink Ladies jackets already set up.
We did.
You were 100% behind it from the start.
Right, so. Exactly. And that was something I kind of came up with, Kathleen and I came up with, but because we're all volunteers, right, on the production team. And so I felt like I could give a gift, if I could give a gift to my production team. And so I've given all of the ladies on my production team Pink Ladies jackets, and then I've also gifted the production crew, the males that are backstage and whatnot, and a t-shirt with the Burger
cool.
Palaces. So just a way to say thank you, because they work so hard and countless hours, and without them we couldn't do the show. And it was kind of fun to have the Pink Lady jackets, and then just to have like a kind of a memento from the show, because it's a special show.
Yeah.
So good memories.
That's a very nice touch. And, I always very much appreciate my techies,
Yes.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
And so to include everybody from the start and just go, hey, we're a big team, that's really pretty special. So, and I noticed, following Gallery on Facebook and following some of my friends, during the Cruise the Gut event here in McMinnville, Gallery Theater and Grease had a presence down there.
We did. Yeah, actually, our costumer, Carol Lee Johnston, and her husband Kit have classic cars, and so we had a pink and white convertible, like I think it was a Ford Galaxy Skyline, something along those lines. I don't remember all the different words, but it was incredible. It was pink and white, and it was from that era, and so they entered it for us, and then we had our cast down there to kind of promote Grease and just have fun and interact with the crowds, and it was a really, really good time. So we were really thankful to Kit and Carolee for letting us use their car that way and kind of show it off, and it fit perfectly with the Pink Lady jackets and the greasers, and it was a good time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I know theater people. We know theater people.
Yes, we do.
Did a spontaneous performance of a number or two just happen naturally?
Not just a number or two, like all of them. And
The entire show.
Carol was like, well, I'm going to play Grease music. And I'm like, okay. And I just went to go and sit. And all of a sudden, I didn't even think of it ahead of time. And I don't know why I didn't. I mean, it should have just been assumed. But all of a sudden, all of the songs came on, and they'd start doing the choreography, and they'd start singing them out loud, and people would stop and watch. And it was great.
Nice.
It was so fun. I mean, talk about a community event like that on 3rd Street. It was a really good time. So it was really fun for the cast to kind of take ownership and promote it and say, hey, come see us. So we handed out information so they could get tickets, and it was a really good time. So
plus,
we had a lot of fun.
As a director, you get an extra rehearsal or two, to read the Cruise the Gut event.
And they got to wear their costumes for like the first time, and so they were really excited about that. It was really a good time.
That's excellent. Not every show can do that sort of thing.
No.
Grease
Grease kind of was perfect for that.
I can't imagine, a Virginia Woolf having a presence down at the, Christmas parade or anything like that. So one of the other things I thought of thinking about Grease is there are, and it is a fun show, top to bottom fun show. There are some adult themes in this show. Mm-hmm. So how are you going about handling those sort of things? Because, it's not all sunshine and bunnies all the time. There are some issues they talk about.
There are some adult themes in it, and so it's definitely a PG show, and that's the way the script is written. And as a director, I ethically, and we are by, contract, have to stay true to the script, of course. So that's very important. And so we just kind of hit them head on, and they're just part of the script, and they're just kind of part of these teens' lives that they're going through and the things that they're dealing with. And you kind of watch them kind of navigate them. They don't go really, really deep, and things are resolved pretty simply. So it's not really a caricature of real life, shall we say. Like,
Sure.
I don't know that anybody's coming to Greece to be, get a message about how to live their life, right?
Sure,
They're coming
right.
for fun and escape, right? And
Yeah.
a good time. So, and that's okay. But I do think, I think it one of our first cast meetings, I intentionally said it, we did a sock hop, and I wanted to immerse these young teens and early 20s kiddos in the 50s culture. And so we did a lot of videos and watched a lot of media on what it was like to be alive in the 50s, like what it was like to date, how they dressed, what did their parents do, and what did the homes look like. I mean, it's so different than what they're used to now.
Yeah.
And so we also had Carolyn McCloskey, who is, a lot of people know her from around town, and she actually was a winter ball princess in 1958. So she is our prop master for this show, and she agreed to come in and kind of be our consultant. And so she talked with the cast one night about what it was like to be alive during that time. And so she's able to interpret some maybe different lines, like what does it mean when they talk about putting an aspirin in a Coke, kind of a thing. So she was able to
Right.
kind of explain that, things you don't hear references about nowadays.
Sure.
And so, which provided a lot of opportunity to laugh and just kind of like think back and realize, wait a second, sometimes we kind of sugarcoat and kind of, we look through rose-colored glasses as we go back decades and realize that they were dealing with some pretty real stuff that we all still deal with. They were teenagers, and they were hormonal, and they were as interested in things that teenagers today are interested in.
Yeah.
So to hear that from Carolyn, who was actually there, and she brought her yearbook, it's wonderful. It was great. It was a good learning experience too.
That's a wonderful opportunity for a younger generation to learn. I mean, the 50s, that's holy moly, that's 70 years ago or so.
Right.
You're talking quite a difference. But
Exactly.
to learn about that lifestyle and thinking, what's it mean to have somebody's class ring? What is that exactly? To go steady
Or what is a
to.
virgin pin? That comes up in the,
Oh, that's right.
And so Carolyn talked about how, you would wear it on one side if you were a virgin, and then you would change it to the other side if you weren't, and then that spawned a conversation about why would anybody want to announce that. But the culture was so different. So talking
Wow.
about different generations and just the time periods being so different, but the same issues. I mean, we're people, we're humans. The human experience, it's all kind of the same. But so it's been pretty fun. It's been pretty fascinating, and lots of laughing, shall we say?
Well, I think the deepest we went down that rabbit hole when I was in it was like, okay, what's that thing you rolled up in his,
Cigarettes,
rolling
right?
up some cigarettes and rolling up the
Exactly.
leg pants,
Yeah.
the pant leg. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's about as far as we went. So
Yeah.
you have some, I don't want to get too far into it because I know there are some surprises.
Yes.
But the set, I had the pleasure of looking at it kind of as it was being built, and I haven't seen it for a couple weeks, so I'm sure it's beyond anything. The last time I saw it, the colors had just happened, and it was
Yes.
like, wow,
Yeah.
that is vibrant.
Yes.
So it looks like a very well-made set, and quite on the main stage. We're on the main stage, everyone.
Right.
And you have projections,
We're
some
going to use projections.
projections.
We have some projections. I think as a director, I feel sometimes projections can be overused, and so I don't want it to detract from the show. I just want, my philosophy is let's set the stage, especially since my set is not one that you have pieces moving on and off all the time. There's a permanent fixture on the stage, and so we have to kind of create the different settings for the scenes somehow. And so I'm doing that through projections and some other things.
That's great.
But yeah, and lots of color, which I think just adds to the excitement and the energy.
Sure.
That just Grease, I think, just begs for a director to bring out in it. So yeah.
I dare say, without seeing it, you are the right person to bring that.
Thank you.
Of everyone I know,
appreciate that.
you can bring that color and that vibrance and that excitement.
Yeah,
So,
I have a lot of fun doing it. So thank you.
speaking of fun, what's your favorite number in the? I know this is like choosing your
That's like
favorite kid,
choosing-
and you're not
I was about
supposed
to say the same thing. Oh, favorite number. Oh my goodness, there's so many. Summer Nights, it's amazing. You're the One That I Want. There's 2 numbers that open the second act at the school dance. Shaking at the High School Hop, which isn't in the movie, so that was new. And then Hand Jive. Those are my favorite. I mean, but then you also have Danny and Sandy's numbers of, Danny sings the song Sandy, and then she sings Hopelessly Devoted to You. And I love it all. I just, and I've noticed that with all the shows I'm in, like every song becomes special at some point, especially as a director, as you watch it and they take ownership, the cast takes ownership and your vision becomes their vision and it becomes their show. It's just a beautiful process. So, but yeah, Summer Nights and You're the One that I Want, I think really stands out to me. And Hand Jive. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
Of course. As a former Kaniki, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Grease Lightning.
Oh, Grease Lightning. How could I forget Grease Lightning to see all those guys dancing on the stage? It's going to be incredible. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's, a wonderful, visual on that one too that we probably don't want to give away.
Yes, there'll be some form of Grease Lightning.
So we have been talking about Grease. Opening September 6th, Friday and Saturday night performances, 7:30 curtain.
Yes.
Sunday matinees, running all the way into September 29th.
Right.
If you are looking to get tickets, which you probably should, you should get on this. I heard a while back we were half sold out already, and that was more than a week ago.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to get tickets, it might be a great idea to jump onto gallerytheater.org as soon as you can and snag those, or you can contact the box office at 503-472-2227. Get those tickets as soon as you can. And one thing we do at Gallery Theater quite a bit is some special events to celebrate the opening. Do we have something like that planned?
We do.
For this as well?
So we do, yeah. We have an opening night reception on September 6th. And after the show, everyone's invited up to the loft, and we will have refreshments and champagne and just a good time to interact with the cast, meet them, and gives them an opportunity to be celebrated for all the hard work that they're doing. So they have a lot of fun. They like to dress up and kind of, come on in and, and so then we can really, really dote on them and help them to feel really good about all the hard work they've done. So, yeah, so it's a really good time.
That's great. I always like the opening night receptions because it's a celebration for the cast and crew.
Yeah.
I also really like the new people in our theater. Those that haven't been on the gallery stage get to kind of experience this family atmosphere of like, oh, this is a party. This is great.
Exactly. And it's such an accepting environment.
Yes.
So if you don't know somebody when you walk in, you'll know 15 when you leave. So, it's great.
And Grease is a great show for that because like we say, there's so many wonderful, wonderful numbers in it. There's so many great characters. If you're not walking out of the theater singing 5 or 6 songs, that there might be something wrong. You might need some therapy because this is just a wonderful, happy show.
Yes.
It's very joyous.
It really is. It's a real escape from life, and we need that sometimes. I go to the theater for lots of different reasons, and Grease is one of those where I just want to go and forget any troubles I might be having or any stressors and just enjoy the 1950s era and the beautiful music and the performances on the stage and just get lost in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. So, we have been talking about Grease. Again, the dates are September 6th through September 29th, Friday and Saturday nights, Sunday matinees. Get those tickets now at gallerytheater.org as soon as you can. Join us for the opening night reception if you'd like. Otherwise, thank you very much, Kelly Jansen, Director Extraordinaire.
Oh, thank you. It's
always bringing great products to the gallery.
Thank you. I love it, and I love galleries.
So we're looking forward to many of the great performances that we will see on stage, all the wonderful music, the incredible dance numbers.
Yes.
That's going to be quite the spectacle. And thank you to everybody in the community that puts these on, that helps backstage, on stage, painting, all of the wonderful things that go in.
Yes.
We have been talking with Kelly Jansen, director of Grease, coming up here at Gallery Theater. And next time on Gallery Theater Presents, we will talk about the next show, which is Fly By Night, directed by Seth Rennie. So, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. My name is Lance Nutman, and until next time, We'll see you at the theater.